Hello and welcome to another week of meals. This week is all about experimenting with what you have in the pantry and in the kitchen. I am starting off with some sort of pasta dish. I know I want to make a pasta dish. I had this Italian mild sausage that I'm going to cook up. I'm not going to keep them as meatballs, so you can see here I'm just kind of breaking it up. I know I just want to make a simple sort of creamy sauce, so I pulled all the ingredients that I think will work. I'm adding here some onion powder and then some garlic powder. I've got a bit of oregano just to bump up that Italian flavor and a bit of dried basil as well. Stir it up. I will be tasting these things kind of throughout so that I can make sure I like the way things taste, as you can see here. And once I'm happy more or less with the way it tastes at the moment, I'm going to add some beef broth. You can use chicken broth. I just, again, want to make some sort of sauce, so I'm going to use this as a way to add some flavor and then deglaze the pan. Next up, I wanted to add some veg, so I have this spinach that's been in the fridge, and you know how it just goes bad super quickly. I wanted to use it up, so I'm just taking handfuls here. It will wilt down, so I will add a bunch of spinach throughout this entire segment. A little bit more beef broth to help it wilt a bit. And again, just more spinach as it's wilted down a little bit more. Going in with a bit of black pepper. And incidentally, if you hear any noise in the background, it's probably my dogs. And then finally going in with a bit of cream. Again, I wanted to make it a bit of a creamy sauce. And that is just heavy cream that I'm adding. I'm going to mix it through. I'm making sure that the heat is on a low to low medium so it doesn't boil. And then to thicken it up and give it, again, a little bit more of an Italian flavor, I'm adding some Parmesan cheese that I'm grating. If you are less reckless than I am, you'll probably do this on a plate or something so it's more stable, but I'm just doing it right into the pan. It looks like I have about maybe a quarter cup or so of Parmesan cheese. You can also use the shaky cheese, like the Kraft if you'd like. After stirring it, I see I want to thicken it up a little bit more, so I'm adding even more Parmesan cheese. So however much you think will work for the consistency and thickness that you're looking for. And then once stirring it around, I thought, you know what, I want to thicken up even more. I'm going to add some xanthan gum. Now you don't have to use this. You can use flour. You can make a little bit of a slurry of flour and water before pouring it in. I could have done the same here with the xanthan gum, but I went ahead and just dumped it into the pan, stirring it up, and you'll see in just a second, it'll take just a few minutes to do, but will thicken up, and you'll get the same effect with a flour slurry. You can see how much the spinach has just wilted down, basically nothing in there, so I'm going to go in with more spinach. You can add as much or as little as you like. As I mentioned, you can also use other veggies too. That would be really good. Kale would be really good in this, I think. You can even add some basil. In any case, this is what the finished sauce looks like, more or less. See how nice and thick it is, and here we go with a bowl. I'm just adding it to some pasta that I had already cooked al dente, topped with more Parmesan cheese, of course, and there you go. That is our dinner, first dinner of the week. Next up, easy peasy Cobb salad. Not much to say about this. I grilled some chicken in the skillet, added some bacon crumbles from Costco. You can see tomatoes, avocado, egg. There's some romaine in there. That's some danked blue cheese that I picked up at our store. Rob likes his with blue cheese. I made a vinaigrette of just olive oil, vinegar, and pepper, and that was our dinner for the next night. I had some frozen pierogi that I wanted to use. This is mushroom and potato, I believe, just on the inside. So I'm starting off cooking some onions that I'm going to use to accompany the pierogi. So I've got some olive oil with butter, cooking up here, I'm going to add some sliced onions. Basically just going to cook that down until they're nice and brown and caramelized, and then I'll move on to the pierogi. To get the color, I just like to layer the onions here, let them cook for a bit, and then I'll stir them around to see if they've gotten any color. And here you go, finished onions. You can cook them even more if you like, but I'm just removing them and setting them aside, and then moving on to fry the pierogi. Adding more butter to the pan so that I can fry the pierogi. The pierogi I have already cooked and boiled in water, so until they kind of floated to the top. I'm adding just the last bits of olive oil that I have, and then here they are, as I mentioned, already cooked, and I'm just frying them off to make them crispier. So this is the way I like to do mine here. I am not a pierogi expert, so don't come at me. Just making sure they don't stick to each other, and I'm just going to try to fry these up till they get a little bit more of a crispy texture and a little bit of a brown color. There you go, they have a little bit of a light brown color to them now, so I think they're more or less ready. You can just do this to your liking. You don't even need to pan fry them if you don't like. I think you can serve them just straight out from the boiling water, but I am removing them here. They're pretty much ready to go the way I like them, and then I'm just going to serve them with those lovely, delicious, sweet caramelized onions. Go. We did serve ours with some sour cream. I like to use the cultured sour cream. I believe it's by Simply Organic. We just get ours at Ralph's. But there you go. That is the third meal of the week. Super easy and yummy. Last meal that I'm sharing with you definitely was sort of winging it. I was going to make a frittata and then realized I didn't have enough eggs, so I scrounged as many eggs as I possibly could from the refrigerator. I have 4 eggs here. I needed probably at least 6 eggs to make this more of an eggy mixture. But I'm seasoning here with some black pepper, and then I'm adding my heavy cream to make the custard sort of the custard filling, and then I'm going in with my OG powders, that's onion and garlic, right here to season. And once that is all mixed through, I'm going to add my filling. So this is about 4.5 to 5 strips of bacon that I had pre-cooked, and then we've got some shredded cheddar. I'm using Sharp. You can use any cheese you want, as much or as little as you want. And then I'm going in with some spinach. Again, that's that spinach that I had in the fridge. I'm breaking it up so that they're in more or less medium to small pieces. And then I'm going to add a little bit more here. Just to beef it up. Again, I don't have enough eggs, so I wanted to beef it up, and I wanted to add some veg to the meal. So here you go, mix, mix, mix. That is pretty much ready to go once it's all mixed through. That would be really good with some ham too, I think, but I didn't have any. So again, just using what I happen to have in the fridge. Spraying my pie pan here with just some, I think it's coconut oil spray. And this was the other big experiment that I did. I added some hash brown, like frozen hash brown stuff, potatoes, and I'm just layering them at the bottom. I thought, oh, they would get nice and crispy and make a nice crust. Well, you'll see what happens here, but I just layered a nice single layer of the potatoes, and then I'm putting the egg with the bacon and spinach right on top of that, and the cheese. You can see I really needed a lot more egg to sort of seep through to the bottom, and really just cover this and make this a complete egg frittata. But alas, this is what it looks like here. Spinach is just kind of floating at the top. I'm just going to go with it. The egg nonetheless will hold everything together. And here is the finished product. It actually turned out really good. I have to say, I'm pretty proud. Rob thought it was really yummy. Colin had a bit of it. And then let me show you the inside, how the hash browns turned. I think they might have gotten a bit more brown if I used my skillet, but they were cooked, and it was kind of like an upside down shepherd's pie or something like that. You know how you would put some mashed potatoes at the top? Well, these turned out to be like mashed potatoes at the bottom, but they did keep their shape. They held pretty firmly. It didn't get too crispy, I'm going to show you here, but it was cooked, and it added a nice like potato crust flavor at the bottom. So I would actually repeat this process and make a meal of this, probably with a bit more egg, but you can see the spinach did not get burnt at all. It turned out really good. So there you go. If you're not really sure what to do with stuff, just go for it. If the flavors match and they go together, I think you're gonna wind up with a pretty good meal, and your family would be nice and fed. So thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video.